Hi guys, we are going to be working on a project for Microsoft PowerPoint today, and I just want to show you some things about how to get it done. So I'm going to start Microsoft PowerPoint. You're going to have a link in Microsoft Teams that will have the diagram that you need. And so I'm going to open up a blank presentation. And the first thing I notice is that I have these two bars here, these two boxes. Remember that you can come up to, once you click here someplace, you can come up here to layout, change it to blank. Again, that was layout, change it to blank. Once it's blank, what we want to do is we're going to take a picture that I have linked for you, and we're going to try to draw it onto PowerPoint. Not just copy and paste, which is something you may have done in the past. I'm going to try to create this using nothing but these tools. So the first thing that I would like you to do, and you can pause the video at any point, go back and rewatch it, whatever it is that you need to do. So the first thing you're going to do is you're just going to click this kind of circle shape here. There's a lot of shapes up here. There's a circle. There's kind of a rounded square next to it. Actually, I think the rounded square might be the better choice. If you don't see the rounded square, remember you can click to see more. It's that little button right there, more button. And then just off to the side, I'm going to try to draw the shape. And I have a nice blue box with rounded corners. Don't worry about the color for just a second. Let's talk about the shape of it. You see how this is kind of rounded? It's called a capsule shape. This is not that rounded. I don't really like it. But this orange button that showed up, if I drag it, look what it does to my shape. Oh, that's much closer to what I want. And honestly, it's good enough. Now what I would like to do, and notice I keep clicking on it to make sure it's selected with those white outlines. I want to change the color of it. There's a couple of ways you can do this, but the easiest one is to look right up here to Shape Fill. And I'm just going to pick red. Oh, yeah, that looks pretty good. I think I'm happy with it. So I've created this red outline. Up next, I have to create the yellow. You might be thinking, well, I could go back up here and do the whole thing again. And absolutely, you could. But I'm going to show you a way to work a little smarter, maybe a little less hard. I'm going to click on this red shape because it's exactly the shape I want it. And I'm going to right-click and copy. You can also hit Control C. So right-click copy, right-click, and then paste. And see, it's going to make another one for you there. Does it really matter which one you do? Not really. I actually use the keyboard. I use Control V. But now I have two pictures of this. Well, I'm going to change this one to yellow. And when I put it over the top, it's the exact same size. So let's make it a little smaller. Yeah, I'm okay with that. That looks pretty good. It looks like the next thing I need to do is have a little bit of a red and a green. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this yellow one. I'm going to right-click, copy, right-click, paste. I'm going to change this one to a green. Let's see if I can get that to go here. Right-click, go to green. And this happens sometimes. You go, uh-oh, I did something wrong. What's going on with it? So when this happens, you have a couple of choices. You can use the undo button. Undo can be your best friend. You undo your mistake until it goes back. You can even redo and put it back if you decide you do like it. So let's go back here. Now, what did I do wrong? So I'm going to copy, paste it again. I'm going to go up to Shape Fill. I'm going to pick a color. Now it's working. For whatever reason, it just didn't work. So I didn't panic. I just undid what I was doing. So I'm going to pull this over. Oh yeah, it's going to be a little too big. I'm going to make it smaller. That's pretty good. I like that. But do you notice on the diagram how it has this red line around the green? Sure wish mine wasn't blue. Well, there's actually a way you can do that. I'm going to right click again, and you might be tempted to go to outline and click red, and you would get it. That would work just fine. The other way you can do this, and something I want to show you, is that if you right click, you can also come down here to format. And that format shape can be really powerful and have a lot of tools that we're going to be using soon. But for right now, just go ahead and right click on it, and that outline we changed to red. You know, I'm pretty happy with that. That looks pretty good to me. And I would think what I want to do is I want to move it. Well, if I start to move it, undo. So now I want to stop you, and this is one of the biggest tips I can give you today, because you're going to use this a lot when you're drawing. I want to make this all into one picture so that I can move it and resize it all together. And it's really, really easy to do. The easiest way to do is to take your mouse and with your left button, just click and hold and draw a box around it, and it selects everything. So again, left click, and I call this painting. You're painting over the shapes. If you like that way, that's great. The other way you can do it is you can hold the control key down, the shift key down, and click each shape. But I don't think that's as easy. I think it's just easier to use that left mouse key and go like that. All right, you ready for the magic? We're going to transform this into one picture. We're going to go with our keyboard now, and you've got the lines around all the shapes. You're going to hold the control button down, and we want to group it. So it's Control G, like group. That took those three pictures and turned it into one picture. Now when I move it, look at that, it goes together. Matter of fact, I can resize it. Ooh, I kind of like that. I sure wish it was going kind of diagonal like the other picture is. That's what this arrow up here is for. I can make it go whatever direction I want. Sweet. I like that. That's actually looking pretty good. This would be a great place to stop, check your understanding, and make sure that you've got it. Pause it, rewatch whatever you need to. When you're ready, I'm going to show you a couple of other cool tricks to make this look good. If you're ready, here we go. I've noticed that the green in here, I don't really want to worry about this 3D line that's trying to make it look 3D. I'm not going to worry about that for this lesson. But I don't really like this color green. It's close to what I want, but I'd like it to make it look more interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my picture, and I'm going to right click on it, and I want to ungroup. So I want to work on just each individual shape for just a second. So I'm going to ungroup those for a second. And now look, we are back to being individual shapes. So that's right click, group, ungroup. All right. Now we're going to play around with color a little bit. And I got to be honest, this is one of the most fun things, I think. So for shape fill, I still want it to be green because I want it to look similar to what we've got there. But look at this gradient. I can pick all different styles of green and decide which one I want. It's really up to you which one you pick. Play with this a little bit. See what you like. I think I like... I'm going to go with that one. And can you see how it's subtly darker down here? And you can do the same thing with the red one now. We're going to go to Shape Fill, Gradient. We can pick what we want to do. And it's just a subtle little thing. It's not a big change. And you can play around with this and see what you like. If you like any of them. Maybe you don't like any of them. That's okay. This is where you get to have a little fun, bring in your own personality to it, I guess. I think I'll pick that one. That's not too bad. I like that. And the yellow, I could do the exact same thing. Right click on, so you click on the yellow one. And remember, it's going to be the fill, the gradient. You pick which one you like. I'm just going to go with a Let's see. I don't like any of these dark ones at all. So I think I'm going to go with that one. Not a big change, just a little change. Hey, that looks pretty good. I think I like my colors now. Next thing I want you to do is I want to show you one other little trick, and that is notice this red line between the green and between the orange right there. I've got a red line right here. I'm thinking I'd like to see that just a little bit better. Okay, so my shape outline is going to be red. Yours might be a different color, but I'm also going to change the weight of it and make it easier to see that. I don't want it too big. I kind of like that. And as I look at it, I can play with it and decide which one I want to change again, and do I like it? And again, it's just under the fill. So, whoops, I clicked the wrong button there. Fill, gradient. Pick the one that you like. And if you don't want a gradient, you can just go to solid color, and boom, you're back. So this is a good place to stop and pause and take a look and see what you think. If you're back with me, I next want to show you how to make the tail. The tail's kind of a fun one. It's pretty easy. What you're looking for under your shapes, you want to click the down arrow, and you're going to get one that has a scribble. It's called Freeform Scribble. And we're just going to draw kind of a shape for the tail, like that. And if you're like me, you're looking at that going, okay, it's not great. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on it again. That's a left click. And I know we can go back up here and try some things, but I want to show you a new trick now. So first we learned how to make shapes and copy and paste. Then we learned how to color. Now we're going to learn how to really get interesting with our drawing. So if you would select your shape, see how it's selected, and now while it's selected, right click. You want to go to Format Background. This is where the magic happens. So over here we've got, sorry, I said Format Background. I apologize. That's Format Shape. So let me pause that one more time. You want Format Shape. If it says Format Background, it's because I accidentally unclicked and I don't have the shape selected. So select your shape, format the shape, and here's where you get some fun choices. All right, let's make sure we're on the paint can. What we're going to do first of all is we're going to change the color to red so the tail matches. Okay, now we've got red. Well, right now that's a pretty thin line. I think I'm going to use this width. I'm going to bump it up a bit, and you can see it's growing. Get it to how big you want it, and that'll be fine, however big you want it. There are some different styles. I don't think these do too much. I'm not too worried about those. But where I think I would like to go next then is down at the bottom. It kind of looks like it ends in an arrow. Well, I can't do that perfect, but I can make a little arrow at the end, and I can make it kind of small. And look, I've got a little arrow, kind of like a little tail there. So, you know, that's okay. I don't mind that. And that's not too bad. I don't think that's going to be too bad. I'm kind of okay with that. So then where I think I would like you to try is just make that tail and see what you can do with it. Play around with it. If you like it really wide, remember you can make it wide. And if you like it less wide, bring it down, change the color. And if you want, you can even change the gradient to a preset and just pick one that you like. Oops, I did something wrong here, so I'm going to undo it. Oh, because it's a line, you can't fill in the gradient. You're filling in this behind it. When you get the tail the way you like it, do you remember that group that we did where you highlight it and Control-G it? And now you've got one shape again. So it's all one thing. Not too bad. When you're ready, I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to do all these little circles inside here. And how to make that scribble pretty fast. So good time to take a break if you need to. Pause it, and when you're ready, come on back. So I assume you're ready for me now. I'm going to click that scribble button again. Remember that was under the more and then the scribble? And I am literally going to scribble. But one thing I don't really like doing is I don't like doing it over my picture, because if I need to change something, it's kind of hard. So instead, I'm going to undo, and I'm going to scribble off to the side so I can really see what's going on and make it as big as I want it. And then here's a trick. Did you notice how it changed color there? You want to come back to where you started and then let go. And look what that did. If you don't come back together, it just makes a line. You may not just want it to be a line. I kind of like mine. See, that's just a line. But if instead I bring it back together, I connect the two ends. Look, I'm going to connect the end here. I think that's kind of neat. Your choice. It's totally up to you. I'm going to change the color again. Remember, that's under Shape Fill. And that's kind of an orangey color. I don't know. Oh yeah, that's a pretty good one. Oops, that's a pretty good one. Way too big though, right? So I'm going to just shrink it down a little bit. I'm going to rotate it so that it goes the same direction. Oh, it was close. Look at that. It's a little dark. Maybe I should make it a little lighter. Oh, there we go. And now, one more time, I'm going to group everything together. If you miss, if only one thing comes up like I just did there, start wherever you have the most blank space, because I don't want to grab the picture off to the side. Make sure you don't grab that. And just keep doing it till you get it. It will eventually grab it. Of course, it's not right now. Possibly because I just need to get away from that picture a little bit. Let's see if that helps. Sometimes you gotta cheat a little bit. There we go. Now I can Control G. Now it's all one picture. If I move it, look, it all moves together. We're so close to being done, it's not even funny. The last trick is probably one of my biggest time savers. So I'm going to click on that more. I'm going to find my circle button. And off to the side, I'm going to make a really small circle. Beautiful. You can see that's that dark blue. Then what I want to do is I'm going to select it. I like to use my keyboard. You can also right click for this one and click copy and then paste. But it's so much faster if you hold the control key and hit C and then V. Now do it again several times. I'm going to do it like that many times. Look, I have a whole bunch of little dots. And now I'm just going to pick one up and move it. I'm going to move it to there. And how am I moving it? Well, notice how my cursor changes to those 4 arrows. Once that happens, you're ready to move. You just click and drag. You kind of put them how you want them. You know what? I'm going to make it look like this, and you'll see why in a minute here. Because I could drag one circle at a time, but look at how many I have to do. Instead, may not shock you to know, I can Control G to group. I can make these really small. I can rotate them. And now look, I've got a whole bunch of little dots over there. Not bad. But you know what? I'm going to undo, because I want to show you yet another trick to make this go even faster. I'm going to take one of my dots. I'm going to change it to that really light color. You can see how there's some light and some dark. I click on that one. I'm going to copy that one. That's Control C again. And then hold down Control V about 4 or 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When you're ready, move those around. Move those around. Move those around. Okay, I kind of like this now. Oh, I don't like that one way out here. I'm going to move it down here. Now make this all, we're going to make it all one shape. Do you remember what that is? It's Control Group, Control G. You're saying, well, okay, that's too big. You're right, it is too big. So I'll click it, but it's all one shape now. I don't have to do each little circle. Make it as small as I want it. I'm going to rotate it a little bit. Look, I can move them all in. You're going, well, yeah, but now I have to do it over again, right? Watch this trick. I'm going to copy and paste this. Control C, Control V, boom. Control V again. Boom. Control V again. And look, I can fill this up. And I can even rotate them a little bit so they don't all look the same. However you want to do this. And I can move this one up here someplace. And I've got my little... And if you want to fill in the rest of the way, just keep it in Control V. Maybe you want to make it a little smaller so it fits into that space. Boom. Love it. I'll make this one a little smaller. And then I'll move it. And I'd like to rotate that one just a little bit. Okay, right there. There we have our beautifully drawn cell. Now, this type of cell needs a name. So very last step, and one of the easier ones, is we're going to click on it. We're going to draw a box. And we're going to type the name of this one, prokaryote cell. Then watch for this. See this red line here? If the red line comes up, it thinks it's misspelled. You right click and you say, oh, that's how you spell it. And you click it and it changes it for you. So little spelling error on purpose just to show you how to do that. When you're done, you're done. Save it. If you don't know how to save, it's File, Save As. You want to put it in your OneDrive. Put it in your Science folder. So you're going to put it in. So here's my 6th grade one. I only have a math folder right now, but you'd put it in your Science folder. Double click on it. Give it a name. Call it something like ProCell. And hit save. That's all there is to it. Hope you had fun. And if you didn't get all of it, just give it a try. We're just trying to practice this and figure it out. It's okay if you don't get done.